solution for my wife will not come from the big pharmaceutical industry. Think about it. It takes at least 12 years for a drug to be approved by the FDA. Who cares about the patient? I then began spending every single moment of every day poring over Alzheimer's research. I just knew there had to be some solution to stop this madness, and I was going to be the one who found it. I mean, I was a psychology professor with a PhD, for goodness sake, and brains were my business. What I needed to do was look at scientific facts and evidence, get a good understanding of exactly how Alzheimer's works, and then start considering every single alternative or outside-the-box solution possible. So I became a student again, studying professional opinion, scientific journals, medical publications, university archives, and health libraries as though I'd never seen them before. I flew to top medical conferences around the world, talking to world-renowned doctors and brain experts. At first, everything I learned was pretty discouraging. I learned that while there were tons of information out there about memory loss, the medical community was still completely unsure how to treat Alzheimer's. But then I made a wild discovery, one that can send the entire medical industry on fire. Ask yourself, why are there people with perfect memory well into their 90s, while others experience forgetfulness in their 40s? Now, you probably heard the name Alzheimer's being thrown around everywhere, or you may have even unfortunately witnessed how a loved one suffered from it. But do you know where the name Alzheimer's comes from? Over 100 years ago, the German psychiatrist Alois Alzheimer published his observations on a former patient named August Dieter. August had what we now call Alzheimer's disease. You will see in just a few minutes how her case helped me uncover why memory loss appears in the first place. I'll spare you my months of continuous struggle and take you directly to the one study that changed everything we knew about memory loss. A study which most doctors would have never heard of. You see, memory loss does not start in the brain, as every brain doctor would claim. It starts somewhere else, in your gums. A 2019 buried Harvard study confirmed this unexpected conclusion. Until recently, the entire medical community believed that there is a gene that is present in certain people that can trigger the development of the disease, the APOE gene that basically devours your brain proteins. But that made me wonder, what triggers the gene in the first place? Why are there people with perfect memory well into their 90s, while others experience forgetfulness in their 40s? What scientists hadn't figured out was why this happens only to some people, and why some people with no family history of this disease can still get it. I mean, my wife's parents were still completely independent and lucid despite being in their late 70s. So by that train of thought, she shouldn't have gotten such an aggressive reaction in the first place. But there it was, in plain sight. A cutting-edge new study published by the researchers at Harvard University that proved all memory impairment diseases are linked to an infection in your gums caused by a bacteria called P. gingivalis. The bacteria produces toxins called gingipains that are found to accumulate in the brain of these patients. The gingipains inflame the brain tissue, which in turn creates plaque, which obstructs the communication paths between our brain cells. That completely explained my wife's case, because she often had horrible toothaches. But was it true for every single case? That's when I went back to Alois Alzheimer's patients' files and sifted through them to see if any observations were made about her teeth. And there it was. August Dieter had acute plaque and 5 missing teeth. I felt confident that my presumptions were correct, but I had to go deeper. That's when, after 2 more weeks of digging, I stumbled upon a very interesting study led by scientists